You're moving your mouse right now, sliding it across your desk like it's nothing. But here's the thing, that tiny movement, it connects you to a Greek philosopher from 2,600 years ago, a guy who was just confused about his jewelry. And the chain between you and him, it passes through NASA, a Nobel Prize accident, and Einstein's most ignored discovery. Let me show you. Your mouse has no ball, no moving parts, just a tiny red light and a chip smaller than a grain of rice. That chip is taking pictures, over 1,500 pictures every single second. It's photographing your desk, the scratches, the dust, the grain of the wood, and then comparing each image to the one before it. That's how it knows where your hand is moving. Your mouse is basically a high-speed surveillance camera for your IKEA table. But wait, how can something that small take thousands of photos per second? In the 1990s, NASA had a problem. They needed to send cameras to space, but every camera back then drained batteries like crazy. You couldn't bring enough power to keep them running. So a guy named Eric Fossum at NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab invented something new, a sensor that used 100 times less power. He wasn't trying to change the world, he just wanted to look at Jupiter. But that sensor? It's now in every phone camera, every laptop webcam, every doorbell cam. And yes, it's the same tech inside your mouse. One guy trying to take pictures of a planet accidentally put a camera in your pocket. But even his sensor needed something to work, something that could turn light into electricity. And that part? That came from an accident 25 years earlier. 1969, Bell Labs. Two scientists named Willard Boyle and George Smith are messing around in a lab. They're not building a camera, they're trying to invent a new type of computer memory. And they fail. But while failing, they notice something strange. Their chip reacts to light. It captures images. They'd accidentally built the first digital camera sensor, the thing that every photo before 2010 ran on. They won the Nobel Prize for it, 40 years later. The entire history of digital photography comes from a failed memory chip. Two guys who weren't even trying. But even their chip needed an explanation. How can light, actual photons, become electrical signals? That answer came from 1905, from a paper that almost no one talks about. When people think of Einstein, they think of relativity. E equals mc squared. Black holes, time bending. But none of that won him the Nobel Prize. What did? A paper about light hitting metal. He called it the photoelectric effect, and it explains something that had been haunting physicists for 18 years. When light hits certain metals, it knocks tiny particles loose. Particles we now call electrons. Light doesn't just shine, it pushes, it ejects. Without this discovery, there's no camera sensor, no phone screen, no mouse, nothing that turns light into signals. But here's the weird part. That word, electron, where did it even come from? 600 BCE, ancient Greece. A philosopher named Thales of Miletus is polishing a piece of amber, tree resin that hardened into a gemstone. He rubs it with fur, and something bizarre happens. The amber starts attracting things, dust, feathers, small bits of straw, like magic. Thales didn't know it, but he was witnessing static electricity. The rubbing transferred particles from one surface to another. The Greeks called amber electron. 2,400 years later, when scientists finally discovered those invisible particles, the ones that make electricity, that power every circuit on Earth, they named them after Thales' magic jewelry. Electrons, electricity, electronics, all named after tree sap. So the next time you drag your mouse across your desk, you're part of a 2,600-year chain. From a Greek jeweler confused about sticky rocks, to two guys who failed at making memory chips, to a NASA engineer who just wanted to see a planet, to a chip the size of a grain of rice taking 1,500 photos of your desk every second. All of it connected. What else are you touching right now that has a chain this deep?